What is up? My name is GARRETT on Twitter, YOOGRRTT. Thank you so much for tuning into the Now Notation YouTube channel. Welcome back to another album review. Today we're talking about Baby No Money, I Don't Care At All. Live reaction was done on this channel on the day that this came out, November the 8th of 2019. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned in to whether it was the live stream or the video cutout, which was basically just a very raw reaction of the entire album. If you want to go check that out, that is on the channel. Thank you again to everybody who did go do that. Thank you. But jumping into the formal review of this album is where we are at this point. Baby No Money is somebody who is well documented on this channel, well crafted in his works. I feel like it's been years and years of building up to the point where we are just kind of seeing the fruits of the labor come into fruition, if you will. And this is just another project, another notch in the belt. But the one difference, the one main difference, the fucking elephant in the room is just, Lala. Lala is a song that Baby No Money put out with Y2K, and also had a fucking remix with Carly Rae Jepsen as well as Enrique Iglesias, two random fucking names that had many chart placements from the early 2000s, or I guess the late to mid, what is that fucking like 2007 to 2012 range? I want to say like late 2000s, but that just sounds like it's way later than it actually is. But yeah, like from 2007, I feel like Enrique Iglesias was in there, you know what I mean? And he was doing his thing. And then Carly Rae Jepsen, Call Me Maybe, biggest shit ever. To have those two looks on a remix of a song that was already getting chart placement way higher than anybody really expected, whether it was from the promotion of TikTok or the various growth of social media. He had a really strange Twitter campaign, and he's even talked about that himself, where it's like he was just tweeting shit and people were just engaged. They were hungry. People wanted it. And again, I go back to the discography that this man put forth on SoundCloud, various platforms, and just worked his fucking ass off and really worked on the craft and refined it and made connections with the right people, and wasn't I don't feel like he was ever really reaching, you know what I mean? I think he was very much in his lane and really was learning for those few years, whether it was from 2017s to 2018s to now we're in the 2019. Regardless, we get to I Don't Care At All, and in previous outings, whether it was Baby Steps or Recess that was released earlier this year, looking at those two projects, those are something that I very much enjoyed. One is just a big fan, but two, honestly, there's reviews on this channel. I gave him pretty high praises. I can listen to Recess this week and still enjoys it. It's not like I'm not listening to Baby No Money. It's just funny that the projects have never stuck with me in a more formal outing, where as much as I probably would have wanted them to. But they're still good projects as far as first projects go. Going into this one though, when you have a little bit more of a formal thing to stand up on, when you have more of more eyes on you, when it's time to shine, time to run up in a shut up or no stun up or gun up, do your thing, dude. I feel like I Don't Care is a perfect example, a perfect project where he is showing up, he is doing his thing. And while it is an unorthodox outing, while it is an unorthodox package, while I do feel like it could have had maybe some better artwork or maybe even a slightly better title, I think all this kind of wraps together and really does kind of put forth what Baby No Money is, what Baby No Money does, what he's been working on, and how he's been getting to the point where it's almost laughable. It's almost hilarious that this guy is as big as he is. Because when you look back, when it's I first found him on SoundCloud with Litmus, and I was listening to an interview of a guy calling him Baby Nas or Bubba Nose or some shit, it's just funny. It's just funny to see this point where the music isn't ever anything but Baby No Money, the fucked out on all the Baby No Money isms. He's so true to himself, and that is, I think, where the success lies, and that is where I think the authenticity and the unreplicable stature that this guy's music just has a fucking stamp on across the fucking forehead of every single track, across every project. It is so obviously bleeding and oozing this guy's mantra, this guy's style, and it's pretty unrivaled in that case. I feel like that's where that's the fucking bread and butter. That's the like canary in the fucking coal mine right there, brothers. But let's look at the track list real quick. Track number 1 is Bad Thoughts. Track number 2 is On God featuring Lewis Grant. Track number 3 is Slop. Track number 4 is Shining on My Ex featuring Young Gravy. Track number 5, in all caps, I Don't Care at All Cause I Have Money! Exclamation, 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 exclamation. Track number 6 is Pop Song. Track number 7 is Jimmy Neutron featuring Little Mayo. That is a rhyme in itself. Track number 8, Pouch featuring just Y2K and Baby No Money. That was a previous single before this album released. Track number 9, It Gon'last. Track number 10 is Gone. Obvious missing is Lala and Lala Remix, even though those both are pretty recent like releases and they're huge. But I almost kind of like salute him, and I almost kind of just be like, yo, that's noble. Like, obviously the numbers for this album would have been inflated. Obviously everything around it would have been inflated, but whether he's looking at it from an artistic standpoint where he's like, well, this song doesn't actually fit within like this style, I think it would have. But regardless of his reasoning, it doesn't need to be explained. He doesn't need to explain shit to us. But in my opinion, I do kind of respect that. With this only being 10 tracks, less than 30 minutes long, if not a little bit over, I do feel like this could have been a longer staying project. But again, with 2 socks on the fucking cover, you're not gonna like come in this thinking there's kind of 37 tracks, go full Chris Brown on them, 7 Lil Wayne features. That's not the time, that's not the place, that's not the guy. Top tracks for me right now, definitely for some fucking reason, I Don't Care at All Cause I Got Money is the number 1 song that I was expecting to hate. Even in the reaction, you can see me just being like, why the fuck is this even called all this? I'm actually pretty pissed in that reaction if you go back and look, because I wanted a justification. I wanted an understanding of like, is this coming at a disrespectful lane? Like, are you just laughing at your audience because it's like so funny and so successful? And while I just made that point prior, I think that it is not like in spite of them. I don't think he's laughing at us. I think he's laughing with us. Like, this is great. Like, this is fantastic. Look where the fuck we are. And I think he does that well. For some reason, that catches my eye, and that's what it is. Want to shout out a song at the end of Recess, and it's called Thankful. And I think that is kind of the precipice of this style of like melody, this melody heavy thing that is infused in Lala and heavily just across the board on this project. He's singing more than he ever has, and that really does carry, whether it is this song, I Don't Care at All Cause I Have Money, or just the project as a whole, I Don't Care at All, as well as another top track to me, which is Pop Song. It's very, very, very like catchy, I think it's very self-referential as well when you look at how he's kind of, again, poking fun. It's just the fact that this is so quote-unquote easy in a way, but it's just like, well, that's the industry right now. That is the way that people catch audiences, is that like you don't have to know how to play 50 instruments. And whether or not like this guy does produce, this guy is talented, this guy is musically infused, like it's not, but it's coming from the work ethic and coming from building an audience is where like the success, where the 110,000 fucking looks on the lyrics for this album on genius.com is existing. That's like fucking good. That's impressive. That's organic though as well. I'm pretty sure this guy isn't signed. He's definitely partnered with Y2K, who is signed, so there is some push or some motivation for a label to get more people's eyes on it, as well as the feature from Young Gravy. You got a Little Mayo feature in there who is ran by some guy named Alex. Fucking forget him, but that's just like a social media running it, and it's basically an alien. Jimmy Neutron though is a song where it's fucking hilarious. You got Lil Mayo doing his thing, you got Baby No Money doing his thing, but I will say that is the number 1 song on this album that has aged like almost the worst for me. When you go into Pouch, that's again another song that has existed. Again, Shining on My Ex has existed, single. Slop has existed, single. All good, all got me excited, all got me looking forward to this project. But I really want to focus in on the first 2 tracks and the last 2 tracks. It Gon'last, Gone, 9 and 10. That is a way you close out the album. That is a way that you actually do talk about, while this doesn't get much lower than surface level as far as talking about real shit, and as far as it actually like pertaining to something. I feel like a lot of this album does just kind of go in a circle, and it just masters that circle. It stays in that lane and just does its thing. But like at the same time, when you look at like Baby No Money's more rapidy stuff and more like flexing stuff, it's more in your face and rough around the edges than this is. This is more like, hey, I want to be nice to your ears and I want you to just vibe with me. And I think he does that fantastically again. And to kind of separate those two dualities as an artist is probably one of the hardest things to do referentially, but also as an audience member, for me to even say that is just pretty fucking cool. I think he's, again, just hitting all the notes, doing all the things, and just doing them well. But yeah, gon'last, catchy, fire as fuck. Gone, wonderful way to kind of close this out. Again, catchiness on catchiness on catchiness. I think for as airy and lofty as this album sounds, the production is across the board, adding things where he's, again, like, even on the production side, like, why'd he'll just add like crazy like horns at the end of shit, or he'll just like switch up the beat in like the most like weird way where it's almost like a fucking salsa dance, and you're just like, okay, man, like, okay, let's just do this. Or it's like the perfect example is on Shining on My Ex, where he's like, is this gonna blow up on TikTok? And that's like Baby No Money just being so fucking self-referential, and it's almost like they're doing stuff to make sure that this doesn't blow up, but they know it will because they're doing these things. And it's just so masterfully like planned that every single fucking label out there has to just have their mind blown, where they're crunching the numbers. All their fucking analysts, they're just going in and they're being like, we don't have the answers for why Baby No Money is so successful. And that's okay. That's fine. You're not going to have the answers. Maybe he doesn't even have the answers, you know? The guy's even been on record saying that he doesn't even want to like take music to the end necessarily. He just wants to like, he knows that this shit can't last forever, so that he wants to get a PhD. He wants to expand like other career paths, and like, that's just the smart businessman. And as long as good music comes supplied with that, I don't see where, as an audience member, again, we can even kind of fault him, or even like, it's not like we're in a drought. It's not like we don't have enough Baby No Money content. It's flowing and it's happening and it's good. Looking at the first two songs though, Bad Thoughts, On God, I do like how those start. Bad Thoughts, I think, is one of his better songs just ever. It's just a whole song. And I always like had a gripe where I always wanted Baby No Money songs to be longer. Meta's like my favorite song ever by him with Graves. And that's completely different than anything you're going to find on this album. But that's okay, because the artist is growing, the guy is just learning, and he's just getting better, like, completely. And, I'm happy. I'm really coming out of this understanding why it's called what it is, why it is what it is. And, when you look back at where we are now, I think that it just is a perfect byline just to where we are going in the future. And let's see where it goes, because it's going to be insane to look back in a few years and look at where this guy's gotten. I fucking authentically feel that there's probably going to be, he hasn't said this, but I would feel like now that this has been out, you gotta do like a deluxe version or something and throw the Lala remixes on there, at least attach those to something, unless there's bigger plans for that. But yeah, standout tracks again though, Bad Thoughts, Shining on My Ex, I Don't Care At All, Cause I Got Money, pop song. And I do want to shout out, I would say gon'last. That's a cool song. I like the Western feel. It's a cool little fucking thing that he's doing right in there. But what did you think of I Don't Care At All by Baby No Money, the album? Let me know in the comment section below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? That would be cool. Thank you so much for all the support on all these videos that I've been posting, and for just tolerating my stupid ass opinions. I really do appreciate it. If you do want, you can follow me on Twitter at YoGarrett, YoogRRTT, Instagram as well, Now Notation on those two platforms as well. Thank you so much again. Take care of yourselves, and that is all, folks.